Sometimes I just wake up with the dark cloud over me. You know that feeling that just sits on your chest and you just feel like you got this dark cloud following you everywhere? There wasn't anything wrong. It's almost worse when it's like that. I meditated, I stretched, I moved my body. Nothing was really working. You know how people say, just be grateful, as if that's the magic key to happiness? I'm not saying it's not. When I shifted that day from gratitude to appreciation, I started to feel my life again. That morning taught me something simple but powerful. Welcome to Late Bloomer Living, the podcast where we're all about shaking up our ideas about what it means to grow older. I'm Yvonne Marchese, your resident age agitator and play instigator. Around here, we believe midlife is the perfect time to play, to reinvent, and bloom like you mean it. Let's go. You know how people say, just be grateful, as if that's the magic key to happiness? I'm not saying it's not. Gratitude is a really powerful thing to tap into on a daily basis. But sometimes, when you're making a gratitude list, it can feel very rote. You might find yourself saying you're grateful for the same things like every day, and then you don't maybe feel as grateful. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little story about something that happened a few months ago. I woke up one morning with what I call the dark cloud. Sometimes I just wake up with the dark cloud over me. I felt heavy and anxious and kind of cranky. You know that feeling that just sits on your chest and you just feel like you got this dark cloud following you everywhere? There wasn't anything wrong exactly. It was actually a really pretty sunny day. It's almost worse when it's like that. But my mind was racing before I even got out of bed. So I did what I usually do when I feel off. I pulled out all my mindfulness tools. I have a lot of them. I meditated, I stretched, I moved my body. I put on my feeling good playlist and tried dancing around the kitchen to shake it off, which, it all helped a little bit, but I still felt it. Nothing was really working. Finally, I thought, okay, I just need to get outside. Maybe that's going to be the thing. Walks often work for me. So I grabbed my sneakers and I went out for a walk around the neighborhood. And as I was walking around the neighborhood, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world right now. And I was seeing all these lawn signs for upcoming political elections. It was triggering me. I felt like everything I looked at was just like making me more angry and anxious. So I thought, well, okay, I have this new tool I've been trying lately, which is just to say I'm noticing. And what that tool does for me is it grounds me in the present. Let me explain. When we get anxious about stuff, it's future-based. Anxiety is like catastrophic daydreaming about what could go wrong in the future. I think we all do that. And I was definitely doing it this day. I was feeling the weight of the world, as it were, and where the world is going. And who am I? What difference do I make? Oh my gosh, all the things. This tool that I've learned recently, which is just to say I'm noticing. It's like doing it in a neutral way. Let me explain. As I walked, I started just looking around to see what I was noticing. What was there in front of me to be noticed? So I'm noticing a red house. I'm noticing I like that shade of red. That's a cute house. I'm noticing the sun shining on those flowers. That makes me feel good. I'm noticing that makes me feel good. I'm noticing I don't like the way that car is parked and that I'm judging the person who parked there. All those things. So I'm just noticing, like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, right? But taking a step back from just being triggered by the bad car that's parked there, noticing that I'm judging it pulls me out of being as upset as I might. So it might sound silly, but try it. That little phrase anchors me in the present. Very helpful. So then what happens is I'm not lost in my thoughts about yesterday, what I did wrong or what went wrong, or tomorrow. I'm right here, I'm right now, I'm fully engaged with what's around me and what's happening inside me. I'm noticing just helps me become aware of everything, the beautiful, the boring, the uncomfortable. But it's not about changing anything. It's about seeing clearly, noticing. And there are a lot of ways to get grounded in the present. If that doesn't work for you, you can meditate, work on some breathing exercises. Lots of breathing exercises out there that can be really helpful. Or even just asking yourself if what you're thinking right now is about what's happening right now, like, or is it that you're worrying about the future, or you're grinding over something that happened in the past. I like to say, where are my feet right now? And when you ask yourself where your feet are right now, most of the time you're going to notice that whatever imagined dangers there are in the world, past or present, right now, you're probably okay if you've got the time to even think about it. Chances are you're probably actually safe and okay. Yeah. So you just ask yourself, am I in danger right now? And the answer is almost always no. If it was yes, you wouldn't have time to think about it. You'd be running away from whatever it is that is clearly dangerous. Okay, so once I get grounded, once I come back to now, right now, and I let curiosity take over, that's when then I can access appreciation. So this happened on accident on my walk. Because as I was walking that morning, can I just tell you, even the I'm noticing exercise, I still had a little anxiety. Sometimes, these tools, they can get you to a certain point, but they may not solve all your problems, right? I was still feeling a little bit off, and it did calm me down enough to think about this other thing that I'd heard, which is like to appreciate. And there's something about a difference between appreciation and gratitude, which I didn't really get in the moment. I didn't really understand what that meant, but I figured, well, why not try it? I'm gonna try to appreciate some things that I'm seeing around me. I started looking at the cars driving by, and I thought, well, I can appreciate that person is doing their best to get to work and feed their family, to get their kids to school. I can appreciate that person is probably doing their very best to be a good person in this world. I passed a building, and I thought, it was a commercial building, and I thought, oh, well, I can appreciate that an architect at some point had to draw up the plans for that building and think about what they wanted that building to be like. That's kind of cool. And I can appreciate that a bunch of people got jobs building the building and were able to feed their families. And I can appreciate that now it's an office building where people can go to work and make money to feed their families. I seem to be on a feed the families thing here, but there you go. Those are all things I could appreciate. And, there's road work happening, a lot of road work happening in our neighborhood. And I can appreciate that the road work, when it's done, is going to make everybody's lives a little bit easier. And something inside me shifted. And it wasn't super dramatic, but it was very real. My breathing slowed, my chest felt lighter. And for the first time that day, I could appreciate the beauty of the day that was around me. And at the time, I didn't realize what had happened. I only started realizing it later when I started reflecting on the difference. Like, what is the difference between appreciation and gratitude? I've always kind of used them interchangeably. But gratitude, I realized, often is kind of like the big stuff. It's like gratitude for living where I live. I feel really great to be in a safe home where I was able to raise my kids. That is gratitude. That is deep. I have gratitude for my family, gratitude for my friends. Those are like the big linchpins of my life that I feel gratitude for. Gratitude for my husband, gratitude for my body that takes me from place to place and is pretty healthy in general. Appreciation is a little different. It's a little lighter. Like, it's noticing and valuing what's right in front of you, even if it's ordinary or imperfect. If somebody in your life, people are imperfect, right? There may be things about that person that annoy you, but there also may be things about that person that you can appreciate, that you can appreciate the way they always cook a meal for everybody and do their best to make sure everybody is fed. Appreciation doesn't ask us to ignore what's hard or what we don't appreciate. It just kind of widens the frame to include some possibility for appreciating what's good or beautiful or human. Appreciating that while you may not agree with somebody, you can appreciate that they are doing what they think is right. It's not about toxic positivity. It's about truth. And when I shifted that day from gratitude to appreciation, I stopped trying to fix my mood and I started to feel my life again. And from that place of just being present, the gratitude started to come naturally. Not as a list of things to check off, but as this quiet sense of peace. That morning taught me something simple but powerful. Gratitude grounds in us the deep stuff of what we've received in life. And appreciation wakes us up to what's here, what may not be perfect, but what has possibility. And sometimes the quickest way to move from anxiety to appreciation and from appreciation to real gratitude is just to notice. So if you're feeling off today, try whispering to yourself, I'm noticing. I'm noticing. Notice what you see. Notice what you feel. Notice what you're judging. And get curious. That curiosity might just open the door to appreciation and eventually to gratitude. The kind of gratitude that comes straight from your heart. Try giving yourself a little noticing challenge this week. Wherever you are, whether you're doing dishes, walking the dog, waiting in line at the grocery store, say quietly to yourself, I'm noticing, and fill in the blank. You might be surprised by how quickly that simple phrase brings you back to the present. And when you do, see if a little appreciation sneaks in. I'd love to hear how this idea of appreciation lands for you. You can share your reflections or your moments with me over on Instagram or in the comments here in YouTube. I'd love to see how you're bringing all these ideas to life. Share this with a friend if you want to turn it into a game to play with them. That would be awesome. And have a great week. I'll be back for Thanksgiving to talk about putting this into action. And let's see how it goes. Bloom like you mean it, my friend.